Minecraft have been busy this week releasing 5 new updates, including this release candidate, which is new, as well as a Bedrock preview. And in that preview, if you look at the changelog, you'll notice that they have de-experimentified quite a few features which are now available during normal gameplay. And if you're like Spy Always Wins, you might be saying, wait, is the controversial villager trade rebalancing coming to 1.21? If not, why would they update it? And also, what is going on with the tone mapper? Interestingly, the answer seems to be similar, but the big question about this update at this point is, so is this update going to have a title sometime? It's probably coming out in less than 2 months, and today I'll be answering all of those questions and some more, because hello, I'm AbYXToyCat, welcome to Q&A Saturday, and to answer the big question about villager trading being in 1.21, it will be in there, but in the exact same way that it's already in the current version of Minecraft, which is to say you can explore all of the features inside of it. All you've got to do is go to experiments and hit the toggle for villager trade rebalancing. However, the toggles we can all currently see are not the ones that will always be there, and so when the Armadillo and Wolf Farm update comes out next Tuesday, we will no longer have that toggle because it will be bundled into the base version of the game. And so when they were doing previews and betas, they did not have this toggle available because that's what the final update's going to look like. And so a similar thing happening in the Bedrock previews is a confirmation there will not be a 1.20.90, and they're moving straight into update 1.21. Very good news. However, why did so many people, myself included, immediately read this and think that villager trade rebalancing was going to be de-experimentified? And I think it's just the wording of this text right here where they say de-experimentified and there's villager trade rebalancing right below it, but also the fact that they actively did update the toggle, something which is very bizarre because they've more or less confirmed it will not be a part of update 1.21, and even if they really wanted to make the changes to make it palatable, let's be honest, there are now just a few previews between here and 1.21 coming out, and almost all of those are going to be spent fixing the minor bugs and reorganizing things and just making sure that 1.21 is fully ready to release, because it is the big update launch of the year, and there'll obviously be some minor features that we'll get to enjoy between here and there, such as new music, for example. But yeah, if you're curious, I imagine the villager trading will sit on the shelf for a very long time, and if you don't believe me, just ask the bundle how it's doing on the Java edition of the game. Rest in peace. Speaking of music, by the way, I think we have to come back to this. We can't reference this without mentioning, wow, did you know Minecraft actually announced that there is a new soundtrack for 1.21, and they gave us this tiny preview. First, gotta say, really like this music. Second, have to say that it came with an announcement that you can pre-save the soundtrack. I love that Minecraft acknowledged that there are a lot of fans who like the music in this game. Big thumbs up to them for that. But third, take a little peek at the last few seconds of this. You've seen this clip a few times now, but did you notice between about 10 and 14 seconds there is actually Effie holding a music disc in her hand. I bet you didn't, but now you know. Minecraft 1.21 has a new music disc, or they're bad at promotion. I think the Minecraft social media people have been nailing the knowing what to say and when though, and so we can expect a new soundtrack and a new music disc in the next few updates. Very exciting little leak if you ask me. Speaking of leak, it's a reveal from Minecraft. By the way, we all know that 1.21 is coming out quite soon, and there's an interesting comment I got from George Cochran 4091 on my update release date video, which was, you explain this every update, what else can you predict? I'm curious. And yeah, I do actually almost every single update go through the whole when is it coming out process, because there are quite a few people who have been playing Minecraft for years and know the ebbs and flows. But if that isn't you, you might be quite confused, like, yeah, Minecraft's working on an update, but they won't tell us when it's coming out, or even anything beyond a very vague season. And even that, for this update, they just kind of said, like, mid-2020. So, you know, that's why those videos are so useful. Using past information and using this, like, learned knowledge to help people is something I really value. But I got a interesting comment from Aya9QV9UV, which is, are you sure the entire industry releases things on Tuesdays? I can't think of a single time in recent memory that a major or at least somewhat notable Nintendo game released any other day than Friday. So if you, I simplified this for the video saying Tuesday was a very common release date, the most common, but actually it used to be that in North America, Tuesday was the release date and Friday was the release date for Europe. You could argue there's cultural reasons for that, but eventually the industry kind of standardized around releasing worldwide for Fridays for a lot of releases, and a lot of other releases go on Tuesday. In general, it tended to be that physical releases would be the Tuesday ones, but there are all sorts of examples where digital-only things release on Tuesdays, and physical-only things release on Fridays. I would say the reason Minecraft chooses Tuesday, even though I'd admit that it's probably just about as popular as Friday, is because then once the update releases, if there's emergency fixes, people don't have to rush in from the office on a weekend, which is probably not what Mojang actually wants, but instead they can do it on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and then by the time the weekend rolls around and there's no staff, they'll have fixed any urgent issues because there's hundreds of millions of Minecraft players. Speaking of hundreds of millions of Minecraft players, some of those people, like Riley, remember title updates. Now we call it by the version number, which is simpler, but I miss them being called TU2 or TU4, and this is entirely true, and kind of gets to this comment from Miss Pat Van Driver Lady, which is this update going to have a title sometime? It's probably going to come out in less than 2 months. This is the longest period we've ever seen Minecraft go without releasing an update, and honestly, we're getting to the stage now where I only see two possibilities. One of those is that 1.20.80, 1.20.5 is going to have its own update name, and so they don't want to overshadow 1.21 with the Armadillo and Dog update, the Dogadillo update, or Minecraft are planning on doing something even wilder and saying, look, we go through all of this effort to make update titles that then sometimes end up with our updates being mocked, like the Wild update not being very wild, and also which inhibit our creativity, and they go through all of that work, and you know what people call the updates anyway. 1.14 was not called the Village and Pillage update by the majority of people, especially looking back. People generally call it 1.14. 1.17 is rarely called the Caves and Cliffs Part 1 update, but instead is 1.17, which is why I refer to it that way, and this is something I think Mojang could probably learn from and say, yeah, why don't we work on the update first, use the title of 1.21 or 1.22 as a nice placeholder, and then if they really need to have a name for marketing, they can work it out at the very end after all of the features have been added. Whether that is what their intention was or not, it's what's happened with 1.21. Whether they have a name or not, they're clearly saying that they don't think it's the most important thing about an update anymore, and honestly, I agree. I would rather that Mojang employees work on the best features possible for an update, rather than working out how it fits into something like Trails and Tales, which is already such a vague update title that it starts to become meaningless and worthless as a way to describe the update, and so it's either that, or they have been meaning to give the update a title, and they've just been leaving it till the last minute because everyone keeps forgetting. I think the former is more likely than the latter, but it's funny to imagine anyway. Speaking of funny to imagine, I got an interesting comment this week, which is relating to the update title, because this was, woo, we're getting redstone. I was just recommended this video by YouTube. Can't wait to see what the rest of this guy's channel is about, and I noticed this was on a video about the redstone update, which was apparently what 0.13.0 was named for Minecraft Pocket Edition, and it's interesting because I made that video in 2016, and it basically died. No one has watched it since, but as you can notice from these comments here, they start 8 years ago, and then all of a sudden, a few days ago, more people start finding it. YouTube has been recommending this 2016 video to people, and another weird example of this is actually the Destroying an Ancient City for 10 hours video. This is one that I made about a year ago. It's one of the dumbest Let's Play videos I've ever made. It is genuinely 10 hours of me raw destroying a Let's Play live commentary, and as you can see, only 5% of people watched it the whole way through. It was a failure of an experiment, but people have been recommended it again because the YouTube algorithm does weird things, and so clearly I know what the people want. And so, hello, I'm AbyaX Toycat, and welcome back to 0.14.0. This is the earliest archived version of Minecraft Windows 10 Edition Beta, as it was called back then, and let's go show you the new features in this update, which apparently YouTube thinks you care about more than the current one. Okay, so I wanted to show off all of the new redstone features, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm looking through the inventory and I just can't find most of them. For some reason, they're here with combat, but as you can see, here are some new things that just released. We've got redstone blocks, and we've got redstone repeaters, and a version exclusive for Minecraft Windows 10/Bedrock, as it's not yet known. Did you know that the redstone will not show as a blob like it does in Java, but instead as a cross? This is actually really great because it effectively shows what redstone does. When you have a single block, it will connect in any direction. This is a very cool change if you ask me, and it's something which is a big positive, only here in 0.13.0, the version that YouTube says you're all excited to watch. And so I don't need to say anything about liking the video to improve its odds in the YouTube algorithm, because it looks like the YouTube algorithm already knows, and all it costs me is a multi-hour rabbit hole of diving into old Minecraft versions, which I'm probably going to go down now. Speaking of going down rabbit holes, this comment comes in from CJ and then a bunch of letters. Anybody else notice he's using AI for voiceover? And this is interesting because the rest of the comment gets it right, saying that or he's super sick, so feel better, Cap, we love you. And it blows my mind now that one of the things you have to deal with if you're a creator on any platform is dozens of comments saying, wow, this is AI, I bet, because people are really bad at guessing when something is generative AI. I think it's very obvious because things are very, very, very low quality, but there are lots of thoughts that come from humans that are low quality. I don't use any generative AI on this channel, or at least when I do, I disclose it very heavily, and the reason for that is I don't think it actually works on YouTube. This is a platform about actually sharing yourself and being genuine of a human in a way that I don't think AI can replicate just yet. But yeah, it's crazy to me that the AI witch hunt is so big that so many more things are labeled as AI than actually exist, and I think this is one of the problems with when we dislike something. We dislike it so much that we're willing to start categorizing things that clearly aren't that, just so we can have something to hate, and you know, that's a societal problem more broadly, I think you might say. But speaking of societal problems, let's bring this back to Minecraft. There is one big feature from Minecraft 1.21's new preview that I didn't mention yet, and it's interesting because it's an incredible looking feature. It's more options for creators to play around with lighting. Here are the 5 separate settings that Smokey Stack showed off. Here is a daytime shot and a trial chamber shot of Reinhard. Here is a daytime shot and a trial chamber shot of Luma, and then we've got Luminance over here. This is perhaps my favorite of the bunch. Then there's Haybull and there's Aces. I think Aces is kind of good outside, but is really good at making those ominous effects down underground. These are 5 separate tone mapper options which Minecraft is giving easy access to for creators making a resource pack, but because it is for resource packs and it is for people who make things for Minecraft, it is something that is in the 1.21 preview, but which won't be a part of the final update. And so, you know, it's kind of crazy looking at some of this beautiful stuff that it feels like they should just say, look, why doesn't Minecraft just have a little tick box in the menu like they did with RTX for a little bit and just say, yeah, let's have RTX turn onable. But it does seem as though, based on the number of people who actually enjoy these, it's much more popular to look at than it is to play with. So I'm curious about your thoughts on that. Just like how a lot of people were curious what was happening with me because I mentioned at the end of the last Q&A that I was about to fly to Jordan, and then I had to mention in a community post that don't worry, my flight had been cancelled because of an outbreak of war. And Milo the Dumb rightly says, man, is that the second time an outbreak of the war in the Middle East cancelled one of your vacations? And it's true. I was planning to go to Tel Aviv in October. I have a friend there, but something about that made the flights fall apart. But you know what's even crazier, Milo the Dumb, is the fact that I also had flights booked to Morocco literally a day after they had that major earthquake, one of the very bad ones. And so at this point, I should probably just stop booking flights to places because it looks like it's going poorly. Interestingly, one of the few places I have gone to safely this year was Haiti, although they went into extreme civil unrest a couple of weeks after I left there. And so if you ever want to know where something bad is about to happen, just look at where I travel to. And for anyone who's curious about how I am safe right now, because I was due to go into a place with airspace closures, my flight was just cancelled. They are hopefully going to refund me. There's a lot of money on flights across different continents that I'm just going to have to wait a month or two to maybe see if they give back to me, and also all of the hotels and whatnot. It's a bit of a bummer, but I decided to turn it into something special. I went to Sweden. I went to the Mojang office. I met Olaf, which was very fun, and also then because I had quite a few days of videos made and I was in a foreign country anyway, I decided to visit a new European country, and so as physically says, I was in fact in Latvia. Latvia was a fun time, although it's one of those countries where everything operates in the summer and in the winter, and they just assume that no one's going to be there in between, which makes it a little bit of a waste, but I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed my Latvian moment, and you know what else I enjoyed? Making this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it, because if you didn't, then you have gone to the end of the wrong place. I hope that you enjoyed this, and clearly at some point you're going to get to see the results of my rabbit hole into old Minecraft versions, but I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one, because I'll be honest, I've gone into streaming some Fallout. I really enjoyed the TV show. It's one of the best adaptations of a game into a show, and so, you know, better believe we'll be playing some Minecraft Fallout tonight. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.